Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. We're going to tee off our discussion segment with the verdict of the appeal court. Yes, the tribunal, you know all that. In 2024, the judgment of the appeal court, the impact on Edo State politics, and name it. It was jubilation for some persons. It was utter frustration for some others. Why some very few? They just felt indifferent about it, saying, after all, they already know the outcome. Well, some are saying it may be a smart move for the PDP governorship candidates in the person of Pastor Godalo to proceed to the Supreme Court to be a waste of finances. So that's saying, no, you have to follow this to the latter. Let's see the end of this matter. And they said, yes, he's going ahead with it to the Supreme Court. If you want to count scores in any sport, it's like 1, 2, 3, 0, remaining 1. And that 1 is the ultimate decider. It can go anywhere. But the question now is, do you think it will go any other way? And the implication of this judgment, what do you feel it is going to be right now in Edo State? Are we going to experience torrential, tsunamic, so to speak, defection or the campaign? Well, with me here in the studio, I have an Islamic scholar, an educationist, and of course, political affairs commentator, political analyst. Join me to welcome Alhaji Ahmed Waike. Welcome to TMI.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
I said very close to him, he's a vibrant youth, a political juggernaut, one-time chairman of National Consensus Party, right? You guys are still in court. When will that court case be concluded?
Well, I am still the chairman.
All right, let me to welcome Comrade Victor Ogba. Welcome to TMI.
Thank you, Wilson, for having me, and good morning, our viewers at home.
And of course, I have a legal practitioner, political affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Barrister Greg Adaze. Welcome to TMI.
Good morning, my viewers at home. Wilson, thank you for having me in your program.
And joining us via Zoom is St. Moses Mosele, and he is, yes, the president of Nena Esele Foundation, right? A non-governmental organization. Yes, St. Moses, thank you so much for joining us. Can you hear us, St. Moses? Okay, he's trying to get the connectivity right. Okay, and soon after, what we're going to be still having Dr. Andrew Mosefe join us via Zoom in course of this discussion. All right, when we're able to establish contact, we'll talk about connection, so to speak. You get to hear from them, to get to hear their own opinions, and of course their own views. Let me start off with the legal practitioner for a reason, because that's your field, so to speak. Now, what do you feel about the judgment delivered by the Court of Appeal?
Wilson, in my view,
Yes.
I don't have any issues with the judgment. To me, the judgment is a sound one. The reason being that you see judgment of this nature, the party that is not giving judgment in their favor, at the end of the day, they will end up castigating the judiciary. That is litigation. Either you win or you lose. It's not a winning outcome. It's a litigation is where one of the party takes it all. So the two parties is not expected. And the judges and the justices out there, they are not magicians. What guide them is the evidence before the court. And in a election matters, it's very difficult to prove. Election matter is very difficult. So that is the reason you see people will be raising casting aspersions on the judiciary. Just imagine the Court of Appeal have affirmed the judgment of the tribunal. And you should know what that means in law. It is already a concurrent findings of facts by the courts. So a judgment of that nature in the Supreme Court is very, very difficult to overturn, because the attitude of Supreme Court towards concurrent findings of two lower courts is usually not to disturb the judgment. That is the issue on ground now. It's like it's not too clear to you, Wilson. What I'm trying to emphasize here, now that there's already concurrent finding, is very difficult, unless you are now say that the judgment was, the Supreme Court now find out that the judgment was perverse. And when you say a judgment is perverse, that is to say the tribunal or the Court of Appeal, hey, obviously in law. So even a blind man in law could see, but they don't decide to close their eyes. In that case, you say that the murder justice. But in this case, we are not seeing anything like that. So is it right of the losing party to also go to what? The Supreme Court? There is no harm in trying.
After discouraging them, you say there's no harm in trying. I don't understand, Barrister. You said it's difficult. I say there's no harm in trying.
See, I'm evaluating. I'm appraising the issue. So I'm just trying to what? You see, open a discussion on the issue. I'm trying to lay a foundation on the issue.
All right.
I have not concluded that, but I'm telling you that it's very difficult. I'm telling you that it's very difficult in that regards.
Okay. I'll come back to you, Barrister. Coming Victor, but you heard him as a politician. What do you feel about the judgment?
Well, thank you. First of all, when you say the impact of the judgment, yes, it will at least douse down tension between both parties. The governor is gradually, getting his foot, and with the recent judgment, I think the governor is well now seated to begin to deliver its promises without fear that tomorrow may be dim. Looking for being the fact that he has got it clear in the lower court and is getting it clear at the Court of Appeal. That now prepares his mind that the Supreme Court will be favorable to him. So on that, I think he can swim all through. And secondly, I'm sure it will help to reduce the kind of politics that we experienced within the last few years on this election. There have been serious politics of bitterness, personalization in the whole thing. Even when the election is even over, you see people dragging themselves. Friends have torn apart. These are things that have never happened in the politics before. We have realized before that when the election is over, relationship comes together, life goes on. But what we see today in the politics, we have seen a situation whereby friends have gone apart completely. People are on the social media, fighting themselves, and those are involved are quite some here. Only God knows the relationship between both parties behind. But you see those who call themselves supporters, you call these names, you drag this, even supporters are not even taking each other to court. That this one is calling me name, I'm going to court for defamation. When candidates are not even doing that. These are some of the kind of things we have experienced in the recent election, which I think probably this judgment will gradually, begin to put in place or check, begin to put in place. So I think this judgment, I'm sure we can gradually settle these very issues. And coming to the judgment itself, of course, for me, right from at the end, if you follow the election properly, you follow the election from the campaign to the election and the declaration of result and all. I'm not surprised on the tribunal judgment or the court judgment, because for those of us who follow the election critically, let us be sincere to ourselves. If you follow the way the election structure was going, you will see the stronghold of both political parties. And when you look at the stronghold from both political parties, and at the end of the election, you will know that yes, it's not far from the truth. For instance, the PDP campaign really focused on Edo South, believing that if they get the total vote or majority votes of Edo South, it's enough for them to cancel whatever vote that will come from Edo North or Edo Central, looking at the population, which was a very good calculation. The APC themselves went to Edo North. They major more of their campaign in Edo North and gradually went into Edo Central, and believing that this is our stronghold, and they capitalized on it. It was till to the tail end of the campaign, you see APC now coming to Edo South to see what they can get to the Edo North. I don't know what gave them that spirit, because if you look at the total votes in Edo Central and Edo North put together, 3 local government from Edo South can cancel them. But the major in these two districts. And when the election came, I don't know if it's because of what has happened previously. Voter party was there. There was a high level of low turnout.
All right.
I'm sure you followed it.
Yes.
There was a low turnout in that election. And as if we don't know what was happening, there was a heavy rain that day, that pour, from 4 a.m. to the end of the election.
All right.
And for those who wanted to even say, okay, let me just transfer myself, why would I wait and they go for rain? Now, the low turnout now in Edo South, they couldn't not get that enough votes to go and cancel what was there. And over there in the north, in Edo North, we will see the results that are coming out. People are coming out from there.
I'll go back to you, Comrade Victor Ogba. I'll come back to you. Before I go to Ahmed Ewek, I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll definitely continue with this discussion. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. We're taking a look at the judgment of the Court of Appeal that saw APC for the second time coming out victorious. Comrade Alhaji Ahmed Ewek, what do you feel about this?
Hope, they say, is what gives an average Nigerian life. And that same hope, I believe, is what PDP is still need to hacken upon. Since there is still a last line of action, which is the Supreme Court, and it will be good if they also explore that very last line of action. Because the idea of if we are just going to Supreme, maybe we will win, that one will no longer be there any longer. So since the chance is still there, so we advise they just told that part to just conclude the electoral process, so that even the APC themselves, if at the end of the day they now win at the Supreme, can now sit down comfortably and say, yes, I've gone through the 3 stages of the legal thoughts, we have been able to prove our case beyond every reasonable doubt that we won the election. And the fact is that in this country, whoever loses an election or loses in the court will always have 1 or 2 blames to give to the judicial system or the electoral system. While those who won will always have the way to praise the judicial system or the electoral system that yes, they've done perfectly well, because this is our system that we follow in this country. And even in the Benipa, we say, I didn't have movement for you. In the sense that it doesn't matter you kill your enemy, provided the enemy dies. So the politicians have that mindset as well. It doesn't matter how I win my election. The most important thing is that I should win my election, and which the APC have already won the election as declared by INEC and also concurred to by the tribunal and the appeal. So to me, I will not say the PDP should not go to the Supreme. They should proceed to the Supreme, because for them to have gone to the tribunal, they have the confidence that they want. And for them to have also said, okay, tribunal judgment we're not comfortable with it, we want to go to Supreme, sorry, appeal. They still have that confidence in them that they won the election. So stopping them at this very level, I don't think it would be justice for them as well. So let them explore the last option by going to the Supreme. And by then the Supreme now finally, answer them. So whatever judgment now comes from them, we take it and one more for the next 4 years to do the election. So having said that, now that the victory has been, upheld by the, appeal court, then it's high time for the governor to now, spread hands of friendship to this other party, because whether you like it or not, we are all Edolites, irrespective of the particular party that we all belongs to. So let us spread this hands of friendship to accommodate them, because two good heads, as I said, is better than one. Those other parties that you are still seeing, there are still some good ideas, good policies, good things in that very angle. Call them in. President Musa Umar Yar'Adua once formed a community government. After winning his election, after seeing the election that brought him into power, it was not a free and fair system. He started rearranging the entire system and bringing unity government, in the sense that I know you are good, but you are not my political party. Please come in and let's build, this come together. So the governor cannot extend the hands of fellowship to other people. Election has come, has gone. Whatever anybody says, because of an election, to go with the election. Now it's time for governance. Let us govern this state together. Extend hands of friendship and call them together, and let us not be fighting one another. There are some that are still on exile, as I speak with you, over the crisis of maybe the issue of that policeman that was killed and stuff like that. It's high time, I think, they should just allow the sleeping dog to lie in so many things and let everybody come back together and let us all move this thing together. So in summary, congratulations, Your Excellency, for your victory at the Court of Appeal, and I want you to please, bring everybody together and spread the hands of friendship to the other people, so that even if they are still proceeding to Supreme, but let them know that you have extended your hands of friendship to them and come and join you to bring those things for a better all.
All right, let's move over to here. Comrade St. Moses Wasele is standing by, joining us visually. Comrade, what do you feel about all this? Don't forget that we have a doctor also, Andrew Mosefe, joining us virtually also. So let's get straight down to St. Moses. St. Moses, what do you feel about this?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Winston, for having me on. And good morning, viewers. I want to quickly say that the decision of the Court of Appeal is an interesting decision. I would not be able to say that it is the will of the people or is it the correct position of the law. But as of today, that is the position of the law. And we are bound to accept until there is a conflicting decision of the Supreme Court. And don't forget that in time past, there have been decisions of the Court of Appeal and the Electoral Tribunal that have been overturned by the Supreme Court. So that's why we have to wait until the decision of the Supreme Court. And when that happens, I encourage all parties to accept the decision of the Supreme Court. However imperfect it may be, however perfect it may be, it's binding. And because it's binding, we all have to accept. For Governor Kwewolo, I expect that he become magnanimous in victory if he wins. And for Dr. Aswe, I expect that he becomes magnanimous in victory. And at the end of the day, we all unite as a do people and to lead the state forward positively. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll come back to you, St. Moses. Like you are still optimistic that it will just be a turn in the Supreme Court. Okay, let's get straight down to where Dr. Andrew is joining us virtually. Dr. Andrew, what do you feel about this? You heard what Moses Mosele said. He said anything can happen in the Supreme Court. It could be a major upset in the Supreme Court, and that is the final bus stop.
Well, thank you for having me. Firstly, I want to congratulate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, on his resounding victory at the Appeal Court, and to also congratulate Edo people on the affirmation of their will by the Supreme Court, by the Appeal Court. And I also want to reiterate here, like I said before when you engaged me in your studio, that you cannot, as a matter of fact, tell me that you are going to an election petitions tribunal without credible witnesses. That is exactly what PDP's case lacked from the word go. At the tribunal, in an election that held in 192 wards of the state, the PDP could only provide, I think, about 15 witnesses, and of those 15 witnesses, about 5 of them were party agents. The other 10 were not party agents, and perhaps don't even have, any credible information about the election, sufficient information about the election. And so you went to court with just 5 credible witnesses, and you expect to win in a serious contest. That is unbelievable. And like I said, in an election I held in 190 wards, are you telling me, let's assume those 18 witnesses were credible, are you telling me they were omnipresent? They were present in all of the 192 wards, so how could they have gotten all of the information across Edo State? Don't forget, we are talking of an election that held across Edo State. So at some point, you could see the unseriousness, of the PDP in this election, and their inability to prove the case beyond reasonable that was their greatest undoing. And I want to say here unequivocally as well that the PDP, isn't a very serious party. We all know that. I know that. We all know
Well,
that.
you
Actually,
cannot
and if
say
you check
it's not a
the
serious
issues
party. It's a
in the
very
PDP
serious
right
party.
now,
It's a very serious party.
this is my opinion. This is my
Even if it's
opinion.
your
I'm
opinion,
not,
even if it's
I'm
your
not speaking
opinion.
No, I have the right to my opinion because it is what I have seen about them. I am telling you about my observation about the PDP. And I'm saying from what I have observed about them, they are not serious. Even as we speak now, can you call PDP a united party? Can you say that that party, as it is today, that if there is another election today, that they can win one local government, given the way they are today? Have you not seen the way people are leaving the party? If they are serious, will people be leaving the party? What I'm telling you is that the unseriousness of the PDP culminated first in their defeat, in the election, in their defeat at the tribunal, in their defeat at the Court of Appeal, and it will be so it will also culminate in their defeat at the Supreme Court. And I know Edo people will not trust an unserious entity, with governance. And that is why they chose Senator Monday Okpebholo, who, by the way, have been doing very, very well, since he became governor. And I am not sure, anybody will want to participate in the upturning of the will of the people, given the seriousness, with which Governor Okpebholo has attacked governance. We can see for the very first time, practical governance in display. And I must commend the court for doing a very good job for their decision that have gone, the way of the people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back to you, Dr. Andrew. Well, you've heard the comment of Dr. Andrew. He said it's because they couldn't present enough evidence. They couldn't present enough eyewitness. They ended with this comment that the party, PDP, is not a serious party. Hence, they suffered massively in the tribunal, right now in the Court of Appeal. And he said they should go to the Supreme Court. They're still going to suffer losses. As a legal practitioner, do you still his opinion? Because while I say that, you're talking about 190-something words, how many witnesses were really on the ground to testify in favor of the PDP?
You see, listen, what he's saying is not far from what I'm also presenting. You see, like I told you, the evidence that was before the court was so weak. There was, even the court also said that it was even some of the witnesses who testified were not even eyewitnesses. You should know the effect of that. That is to say, it was a hearsay evidence. they were relying on in the court. And hearsay evidence in law is inadmissible. So what now happened to those people who were there? They were not in the court. You see, when things are going on, what people don't know, from my own experience in this profession, you see things will happen. People will be shouting, will be hailing, doing this. You come to court to come and give evidence. You will not see any of them. So that is one of the things that is affecting litigation. Cases, you see cases, good cases, at the end of the day is being struck out. The person, even if it is a criminal offense, the defender is being discharged. These are no evidence before the court, no sufficient evidence before the court. So where they are going, he has the right to go to the Supreme Court. But it's based on, like I told you, has to do with, I said it's an exceptional infraction on the law. Like I told you, there's perversion. When you say perversion, for example, people are saying they were bribed, the judiciary were bribed. Where's your evidence? You see?
Are you saying nobody was bribed?
Nobody. Listen, you can see, you just are
How is that great? Are you saying nobody collected brown envelope?
You people want to just to talk.
I'm just asking a question.
Yes.
I'm just asking a question.
So if anybody was bribed or whatever they have now, for this, if there's such evidence, you have it. It's good to the what? It's good for the PDP. These are good ground. But in this case, there's nothing like that. So it's unfortunate that my old learned colleague, Aswe Iwudao, has found himself in this old political quagmire. He has expanded monies, spent time. They say Sose has so many friends. You see, as we speak, even the people that were with him, eating and dying with him,
They need to decamp to the other party.
Even when the Supreme Court has not even, you see, no patience, they couldn't even wait. It's disappointing. They are not disciplined. What are they looking for? Some of them are even rich. They even have a position. They are just started moving. It's uncalled for.
Okay, since you open up that chapter.
Where's their political ideology? It shows that politics is all about self-interest.
Okay.
Personal aggrandizement, nothing more.
I'll come back to you, Barry.
It's annoying, we see.
I'll come back to you, Barry.
Please don't be angry.
It's too early for them to be moving here and there.
All right.
It's not even up to 2 years. It's not even up to 1 year. Why are they moving?
Comrade Victor, you are a co-politician, and you just raised the point saying that he's disappointed.
See, even the way they are even moving, it already shows that you know what that means. From the same party, you know what that means. You are not castigating the court of appeal. People are not saying that. It's not done.
Okay.
Even the old people, they already self-incrimination.
Calm down.
On the part of the party members.
Now, let's take a look at the polity in Edo State.
Yes.
It's like the tsunamic in nature right now. You'll find that he's not happy with the way things are going. They've not even heard judgment. Many people just started the campaign. That was the first thing in court. Now, the second thing in court, so many people also leaving, and it's quite disappointing. What do you have to say about it, about the politics and polity in Edo State?
Well, the campaign is not new to politics.
Not up to 2 years.
Yeah, it's not new to
Just
politics.
6 months plus.
Yes, the campaign is not new to politics in Nigeria, and not even in Edo State. After all, the immediate past governor did not spend up to 2 years as soon as he won election in his party before he moved to another political party. So I do not expect to, I'm surprised now that you are surprised that people are jumping ground because of personal interest. Well, what is playing out now, clearly demonstrates the level of coordination within the PDP during the election. This kind of unseriousness You know, see what you are saying now. A man who is just jumping immediately after election. You think he was sincere to the cause during the election? Of course, if the honey is there, let's click the honey. So what I said earlier before is a demonstration of what you are saying, because you could not see that the PDP itself during the election was being shouldered by few sincere people in that party, and they almost used that stress of politicking to kill the deputy governorship candidate to the PDP, because I was likely the only one who was on ground to do the main thing that even yield results. The outgoing governor burned a lot of bridges, and you cannot expect that those bridges can be built within 3 months because of election. All these are, so it's a lesson for all political actors. What just played out in that election? They left the reality. They left the grassroots politics. They left the people. They were on social media. They were on the internet, bringing out figures that are not realistic. You know, in real politics on ground. When election comes, these people, you saw them having it was almost like having a polling unit in the internet. So when the election day came, whether they were waiting to see online voting so that they can cast their vote online, I wouldn't really know. So on that day, the fact was that, as those sound to be sincere, to be precise, I mean, we experienced high level of voter apathy. People did not come out to vote. Then the rain itself did its own magic. And you know, those who were just sitting on the fence thinking of should I go or not to go, just relaxed and slept and started sleeping. In the polling units where ordinarily you will get, where people will win with 3,000, 7,000, we are saying winning of 12 votes against 7 votes, 15 votes against 10 votes, 27 votes against 2 votes. Those are the kind of winning we are seeing here. So where were the people?
All right.
So now when you now see that, election, at the end of election, the numbers of people who have left PDP now to APC are more than the total number of people who came out to vote.
I'll come back to you on that. So
where were all these people?
Comrade Victor, calm down. Calm down. Let me go to Ahmed again. Doesn't that mean that in course of the election, people just had very few loyalists? Because come on, after the elections, I saying the campaign, not even the first saint of the tribunal, some people already taking shape that they are the chairman of, each local government, despite the fact that they were members of the PDP.
Thank you. You see, an average politician is a nomadic human being. They move from one place to the other, from one position to the other. No politician wants to remain in any particular place for a period of time that very particular place is barren. Because most of them does not have a second address. And even when Barrister Greg said that these are wealthy people, they may be wealthy from the way you are looking at them, but they don't have a second address. The wealth came in from this same old system. And for you to remain in a barren situation for just 6 months, that wealth may start going down. So they wouldn't want that kind of situation to happen. Now, coming back to what you are saying, there is never a loyal politician. As long as you call yourself a politician, you are never loyal. You are only loyal to your interests, to your whims and caprices, not less. Nothing else. There is a stage that you follow somebody to, you say, no, I'm not affecting you. I cannot move further than this because as I'm moving with this guy, affect me as a person. So you see them start retracting their step. So seeing them the campaign is not new to me as far as I'm concerned. It's a normal thing. The only few politicians that have that integrity as we speak today is one of the person ruling us as a president, who have remained steadfast and started calculating. Though we are sinking, I can't sink. Let me think of next option. The remaining other ones, check them. Can any of them swear that they've remained their party since they started in this very stage? No. They were only looking for where is the fertile ground. And once they come to the fertile ground, and that fertile ground, the water has sunk. Where is the next fertile ground? Because there are always ways to use to defend your actions. Those who decamp from the State House of Assembly, did you see what they were saying? That is at the and one of them were very, plain enough. I want to secure my seat too.
Alexander is pure honesty.
That one was very honest.
Was
I
honest.
respect him for that.
He was honest.
He didn't come and say because the crisis we have in the party, blah blah blah.
He
No,
was honest.
my
This man
seat too,
sees.
I want secure him. That make me the decam. So he is there now. You may look at him, he's wearing the cloth APC. To him, is the same human being. In fact, in those days, as a case study, we don't have any political ideology. I have said this in times and over in this same studio. When Governor Patrick was in APC, when he moved to PDP, did he change his style of leadership? No. It's the same of us. So all we have is individual ideology, no party ideology.
All right.
The current person who moved from one, I don't want to mention, okay, let me mention his name, the speaker who moved from PDP down to APC. It's the same Blessing Agbebakun. Nothing changes. He's going to lead the House of Assembly as Blessing Agbebakun, not as a APC Blessing Agbebakun or PDP Agbebakun. So them moving is for their personal purposes. And it's not for the purpose of XYZ.
All right.
Many of them were with the PDP at that time because PDP was in power. Now PDP have left, they are moving to where the other place, the person who is in power. May God forbid, say for example, Supreme Court gives it back to us. It will not even take 72 hours. It will not take 72 hours. You see them moving again, like wind, down to the other place. It's like that because all of them want their respect. They don't have a second address. All like developed world, where you see politicians have second idea. Donald Trump was a real estate man, was a television analyst. He has a job. He has a second address.
I will come
but
back to
yeah,
you,
they don't have second address. Their addresses is election.com. You don't have an address, so they will always move to where it's better. So they are nomadic human being. So I'm not surprised, and don't be surprised as well.
I'll come back to you. You know, it's all about the impact on the polity. Yes, Jonathan Given, how do you think it's going to reshape the politics and, of course, polity in Edo State? Let's move over right now to St. Moses. I said, if there is a change in the judgment of the Supreme Court, they should all accept it. St. Moses, you've heard the analysts in the studio that are saying no practical ideology. I mean, the politics and polity right now in Edo State, how do you think the judgment will shape it?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Wilson. I want to quickly throw light on what has been discussed previously. The reason why a lot of people are decamping, I actually identified four fundamental reasons. The first reason being that, like Dr. Mosefi rightly said, the PDP is badly organized. And I would want to say that's correct, because if the PDP was properly organized, they would have been able to manage their crisis when they lost power. And that's the first problem. The second problem is the candidate, a fantastic person, albeit, but he probably was not able to manage the loss. For example, someone like me, if not for my strong ideology, I would have moved elsewhere. But I just moved and went home. Why? Because since he lost election, he didn't reach out to any of us who helped him. He didn't reach out to many people who helped him. And that was a very poor way of managing a loss. I understand that it's under pressure. That's the second point. The third point is the death of ideology among politicians. And the last point is hunger. Hunger, because a lot of people are hungry. They just feel they want to eat. Because they want to eat, anywhere the power is, the cheese has moved. Let's move with the cheese. And that's the problem. And there's something I want to quickly state, that despite the fact that this guy, our governor, has won in the tribunal, has won Court of Appeal, can guarantee that he will win in the Supreme Court. There are a lot of cases that have happened in the past, that in the tribunal, somebody won, in the appeal, somebody won, and in the Supreme Court, somebody else won. So nobody should celebrate. We should all have a sober reflection of our laws, of our processes, and have a hope of what will happen, whether it's go this way or that way. Now, in Imo State in 2019, Ihedioha won in the tribunal, Ihedioha won in the Court of Appeal. Unfortunately, Uzodimma won in the Supreme Court, from far behind, came forward. So there's nobody should be too proud or arrogant. Like I see in the media, some people writing rubbishes and all of that, saying that this other guy should take amnesty and all that. That's so insulting. That's not right to do. So we should all be reflective. You know, it's also happened in Bayelsa in 2019, same year. Despite all that had happened, Supreme Court ruled a day to swear in that this guy was not eligible to be governor, and he never became governor. So in Kebbi State in 2011 and a number of cases that happened. So what I'm trying to say is that we should learn to be disciplined. We should learn to follow ideology. It does not mean that those who are decamping are actually not only those without ideology. No, it may be that they are angry. It may be that they are disappointed. It may be that they are hungry for whatever reasons. But the point is, when you move, what do you do with power? When you win, what do you do with victory? When you lose, what do you do with loss? This is a lesson for all of us. For Dr. Asue Udalo, he should understand that even failure, you need to learn from failure. For Governor Bawolo, he needs to learn that with victory, even if you have a slim victory, you can do something with a slim victory. I'm very proud of the things he's doing right now from the infrastructure project. You must do something with whatever God has given to you. For us Nigerians, what we can do with situations, we should not be too hard and fast about things. We should just accept whatever the laws have given to us. The processes, however imperfect they are, what they have given to us, if the final procedure, the final answer, it says Dr. Aswe has won, so be it. If it says Governor Paulo continues to be governor, so be it. We should not fight, we should not quarrel, we should just understand that there are imperfect situations. We should continue to strengthen and grow our democracy until such a time when we can have a more perfect democracy. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that particular analysis. You heard St. Moses is saying, look, he agreed with some points raised by Dr. Andrew, talking about the poor organization because of the internal crisis of the PDP. Now, we're talking about loyalty. Dr. Andrew, this question is for you. Do you think that with the influx of some members of the PDP into APC, somehow there will be a case of loyalty being tested, some coming in because of ideology, some coming in because they want to support the governor, and others coming in because of hunger? How do you think APC will manage this? Remember that in Imo State, like what somebody rightly said, they won the first two states, but in the Supreme Court, it was a total ball game, a new phase, and Ihedoha, I beg your pardon, became the governor of Imo State. Dr. Moses. Dr. Andrew, rather.
Firstly,
Yes.
let me thank SME for being proud of our Senator Monday Okpebholo and his accomplishments in office thus far. And I want to assure you and assure all Edo people that the fate that befell Ihedioha and David Lyon, that's Imo and Bayelsa, will not happen here in Edo. And that is because if you follow the proceedings right from the tribunal to the appeal court, you will see that they were saying the same thing. The PDP did not have credible witnesses to substantiate their allegations in court. They only had about 17 witnesses in an election that held in 192 wards. And out of those 17 witnesses, only 5 were credible. I mean, I have to continue to reiterate this so that we understand the extent, to which, the case of the PDP, is so bad. I mean, it is beyond repair. So when something is beyond repair, it means it cannot. There's no remedy. This case is dead on arrival.
You can't say it's beyond repair. They are still working on the path, so you cannot say it's beyond repair. Please continue.
We say, the problem here. You always try to force me to accept your opinion, and you forget that you are dealing with a political scientist. I mean, I am a political scientist from the word go. You understand? All my degrees are in political science, are in politics. So if I tell you something, you should take it from me. I mean, I may not be a lawyer, but I'm a researcher, and I've read through all of the arguments of the PDP, and I'm telling you that they are in a state of disrepair. In fact, it cannot even be repaired. It cannot be amended. Their case is dead. I mean, I just explained something to you, and I expected you to also see it from there. In an election that held in 102 wards, you are presenting only 17 witnesses, out of which only 5 are credible. And the appeal court have further even dealt with them by saying that the tribunal in itself erred by even admitting beavers as part of the evidence of the PDP, and that it was supposed to be that the onus lied on the PDP to come and defend their case in court. And so I don't see any difference. I'm not seeing a situation where the Supreme Court will differ from the judgment of the appeal court, from the judgment of the tribunal and that of the appeal court. And it is just going to be, a continuation of that. And then when you talk of party loyalty, you cannot achieve party loyalty 100% from all members of the party. So even in a united entity, even in a united party, you still find a situation where out of all of the members, at least you will see after all, they say out of every 10, there must be a Judas. But I can guarantee you that members of the APC are loyal people. I mean, we were loyal all through the Holocaust that was visited on us by Obaseki. And till today, we are still loyal. Those that are coming to join, don't forget that for those that are coming to join, many of them were even disgruntled. They were members of the PDP, but they were disgruntled. They were not happy with the status quo. And they were just there because they were trying to manage, and all of that. So now that Obaseki is out of the way, the man who brutally, you see, Comrade Ugba, I think. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Dr. Andrew. I'll come back to you. Well, he made a statement of PDP being a state of disrepair. Nothing that cannot be fixed. Yes, nothing that is beyond repair. Anything can be fixed. If the party choose to put their house together, it can be fixed. Well, he raised some valid points. He raised strong points why he felt that it might not be the case of Bayelsa or Imo, but in law, anything can happen. We'll return after this break. My analysts will give their concluding part to this particular discussion for us to go to the next one. Okay, we'll be right back after this break. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Right now, to conclude this discussion, I need my analysts to give me the last line on this particular discussion. Well, Barrister, it's been confirmed that the PDP says they're heading towards the appeal court. Some are saying it's a waste of time, resources, energy, and money. Would you advise them to go ahead or just shake the sun?
Yes, he should go. He's right. So there is no time limit for doing justice. There is never harm in trying. It's just unfortunate that, like I said earlier, it's very, very painful and regrettable that Asun Ihodaro, my old colleague, has really found himself in all this. A lawyer of his pedigree, a lawyer of his quality and quantity, somebody that has carved a niche for himself in the legal profession, even beyond looking at his own personality. It's just that the process that the ladder have referring to, the sin of the Obaseki. That was what they used to rob me. The problem is coming from the election. In time without number, we were saying, we know the direction because the people were not happy with the structure that brought in. That was the problem. He has everything. That's why it's disturbing that people are worried that why is he not answering? But it's not like that. Politics is not like that. If people don't need you, they don't need you. Looking at his credentials. Imagine a man of that caliber supposed to be the aim of affairs. The people will rejoice. To me, all hope is not lost for him. He should continue. Before you know it, this tenure will be over.
Hold on. Barrister, are you not contradicting yourself? On one hand, you are saying, go ahead to the Supreme Court. On the other hand, you are saying, this tenure will be over.
See,
I don't understand.
Let me, if for every reason,
Yes.
if you are fighting a battle, provided that, like what Ahmed was saying, you exhaust.
All means.
You satisfy your conscience. So that at the end of the day, XYZ will not be saying, if we have gone to the Supreme Court.
All right.
You see, the Wilson, when I open my discussion, I raised an issue. I said, the attitude of the Supreme Court to concurrent findings of fact by the courts, the trial court and the lower court, that is the tribunal and
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
I told you.
But the name of the case was different.
You
now.
see, in this case, those issues they are not easy to, you cannot even see it anywhere.
All right, thank you.
So, but however, they have the right to approach the Supreme Court.
Thank you so much, Barrister. Well, briefly, comrade, should it go ahead? You said it should go ahead.
Well, looking at the case quietly, we, as humans, we saw all that happen, and we saw all that is still happening. When you say 172 words, and you are bringing 15 or 18 witnesses, it's not that is not the issue. That is not the fact. The fact that I'm talking about over 7,000 polling units. And you are supposed to bring evidence from each of the polling units. And you are bringing less than 20. And inside that 20, more than 3 or 4 will come from one unit or one ward. And when it comes to the issue of court case, the judge was not there with you when the crime was being committed. The judge is going to give his judgment based on the evidence before him. And now you are challenging an election that took place across the entire state, and you have not been able to draw bring to the picture of the judge the entire state in his view and say this is what happened in point A, point B, point C. You are just giving him a handful to see somewhere in Yokono, and the picture of there and other places and on the donut and all are not in his front.
So you say they should go ahead.
And he cannot give judgment based on that, and you expect him to not give judgment based on the entirety. And if you go further, what you present to the court matters too. You are telling the court that this election was not a proper election. And you are asking the court to declare you winner in an election you claim is not a proper election. So putting all this together, I do not think that the magic that has happened in other states, because if you look at the judgment, we are talking about unanimous judgments. If we have a judgment that says that 2 against 3 or 1 against 2, and you say, okay, if this guy goes to Supreme Court, the Supreme Court may look at the point of the one in favor. But this is not in that case.
But all I'm saying is,
So in view, I would advise that instead of wasting much money, the interest of Ighodalo as well is for the Edo people.
all right.
And the interest for Mewolo is for the Edo people. So instead of wasting the time, instead of wasting that time, 4 years already counting, that we all are now losing because of a court case, let it join hands together with the sitting governor.
Thank you.
Share his ideas with the sitting
Thank
governor,
you.
and let us go ahead.
Thank you so much. Ahmed, please, what do you feel? Should it go ahead?
I've said it before in my first opinion here, that hope is the strength of every human being. If not hope, some person must have committed suicide due to what they are passing through. That is why when you go to church on Sunday, the major thing you are going there for is to get hope. And when you go to mosque on Friday, the major thing you are going there for is hope. So they will counsel you and give you hope at the end of the day. Don't worry, it will get better, And even in hospitals too, doctors will always give you hope. Even when you are HIV patient, don't worry, it won't kill you and stuff like that. When you take the drugs like that, you will die. That hope is what is curing you, not that drugs they are giving you. So in this case, hope is what the PDP needs. And that hope right now is that there is still hope, meaning they still have one chance. So, and it would be better they utilize that one chance. So that tomorrow, not only you are arguing on this, if you say we go should be not say for women now. But for women, that angle it will not be pinning you that is an APC member. So let them just exhaust it. So that tomorrow, if you want to, we want you people 1, 2, and 3. By so doing, people himself can sit comfortably and say, I duly won the election. And the three court have affirmed me that I won the election.
So they should go.
Yeah, it is so reason that they should go and complete. It's our civic responsibility.
Thank you.
And don't forget there are lawyers who benefit from that angle. So you want to stop them from making money too. Please let them go and conclude it.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you so much. Well said, Moses. You've heard them. So people are saying that going to Supreme Court is an exercise of futility. Why not just save that money? Go do something else. Should they go to the Supreme Court, St. Moses?
Thank you, Wilson. I think Dr. Aswe Rodaro should appeal to the Supreme Court, if for anything but for having a closure, a proper closure of a case. It's not right that you fought a battle and you chicken out. It's better to know where you died than to know where you entered the bush and got missing. So he has to go to the Supreme Court. Also, there's a chance that he will win. He could win. He could win because in Ihediora's case, he won in the first 2 courts, and the Supreme Court ruled otherwise. And the Supreme Court gave victory to Uzodinma. And so it's the plethora of cases that have happened before. So I'm not saying that he would win or he will not win, but he could win. He could also lose the case, but he has to complete the process. And for Governor Gbewolo, I also would encourage him to encourage the case to have a proper conclusion. Like the last speaker said, it will be said that you didn't properly win. Maybe something would have happened, or maybe.
I believe I read some connectivity, but you heard his own comment. You heard his own comment. Due to connectivity, where we are supposed to contact, definitely. Now let's see if Dr. Andrew, if you are there, please, would you advise them to move over to the Supreme Court, Dr. Andrew?
Well, if I was in the shoes of Aswa Ighodalo, I would quietly just accept a political amnesty that has been offered to him by the governor, and by not going to the Supreme Court, just accept the amnesty instead of going to the Supreme Court and being brutally beaten like it happened in the election at the tribunal and the appeal court. Because I can guarantee you, I can assure you that he's going to suffer another defeat. And this time it is going to be a situation where another unanimous judgment that will not come with a fine for wasting the time of the court. So if I were him, instead of suffering another humiliation, I would just accept the amnesty and then join hands with the governor to move Edo State to the next level. There is no shame in it. There is no shame in it at all. Accepting the amnesty is something that I think he should do with pride. There is no shame in it at all. So I want to encourage Dr. Aswa Ighodalo and the PDP to accept the amnesty and join hands with the governor and avoid another brutal defeat that will come in the Supreme Court.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew. Well, you've heard my analysts have spoken their minds. Some are saying, well, one said chill, right? 2 or 3 said chill. Others are saying, go ahead, complete the circle. We'll keep watching. We just keep watching. But believe you me, things are really changing politically in Edo State. Are saying that the campaign, people like saying this is like, tests for loyalty, that those that left the PDP for the APC are not loyal. Why those that remain in the PDP? Some are calling them fools already because they need to take the carrot that is being offered to them. Well, it depends on your own angle, depends on your own point of view. But remember one thing, Edo State is for us all, right? Development, the masses, you just name it, is for us all. We need good governance. We want good governance. Anyone that is in the hands of affairs should please continue in that particular stride, okay? If you're a PDP member, you're not satisfied with the discussion here, you have the right to bear hearing. You can come and say what Dr. Andrews said is not correct. What St. Moses said is wrong. What Comrade Victor Ogba said is incomplete or is not correct. Even Barrister Greg and Alaji Ahmed, if you say you're not agreeing with their comment, you have a right to fair hearing. Come give us your own opinion, give us your own point. But if you don't want to go out there to say you want the circle to be complete, at least as far as your conscience, go ahead. Take a shot at it on the Supreme Court. After all, Imo State, Bayelsa State, these are critical examples that one can really cite. They lost at the tribunal. They lost at the appeal. When they got to the Supreme Court, they became victorious. And that matters a lot. But the question of loyalty, how loyal are you to your party? Someone saying, Wilson, forget about loyalty. It's all about what you can get for yourself. What about what you can get also for the people? It's all about you remaining politically relevant. You put it all together. How do you think the politics and polity in Edo State will fare so far?